So, in my last video, I was talking about the Danny Masterson criminal trial. And if you haven't watched that video and you haven't heard the news anywhere else, just FYI, he was found guilty on 2 out of 3 counts. He's looking at 30 plus years in the slammer, and I don't think anyone is too upset about that. Apart from maybe his wife. Anyway, I mentioned that there had been a leak of some of the discovery data that was some of the evidence that was turned up by the prosecution that they turned over to the defense as part of the discovery process. And somehow that cache of materials ended up in the hands of Scientology's lawyer, Vicky Podboreski. Now, Vicky Podboreski is not someone who's being accused of anything here. The concern was with the people who leaked the information, not the people who received it. And to that end, an interesting thing happened. The judge summoned 5 lawyers, and 7 showed up. So there were 3 lawyers on Danny's legal counsel who showed up and said, basically, not me, not me, not me. And there were 2 lawyers who showed up with their own lawyers. And it's pretty evident that those 2 lawyers, Thomas Mesereau and Applebaum, I don't remember Applebaum's first name, those 2 lawyers were Danny's defense attorneys early on and were eventually fired, ultimately in favor of the team that he's got now. So it looks like these 2 lawyers who were fired have been dinged by the judge. They're going to be fined $950 each. And I know that seems like a very small amount, but it seems that the way things work in California is that if you get fined $1,000 or more, then an automatic report goes to the Bar Association, but it also allows the accused or sanctioned person to have a jury trial on that particular question. And I don't think anybody outside of maybe the church and those 2 particular attorneys is particularly eager to have another big circus and showdown about, what information can and can't be brought into court about Scientology. So I think she took the path of least resistance by only fining them $950 each. Some commenter in Aaron's comment section on the video that he did about this mentioned that it might trigger a Bar Association investigation of them anyway. So maybe with some luck, they'll actually be held accountable for this in a way that ends up costing them more than, 3 billable hours. So there it is. That is the story for today. So this is a short video. I apologize for the brevity of it, but I just really wanted to get the info out there. But I am trying to be a little more present on my channel than I had been for the past couple months. I mentioned that I'm in the middle of moving house, so that's kind of chaotic. We are at a point now where we have contracts for both selling our old house and buying our new house. So it's all over but the closing and the actual moving. And like I mentioned in my last video, I'm going to be kind of sort of homeless for all of July and possibly half of August, but I won't know that until the middle of July. Basically what's happening is that the people who are selling us their house also need to find new housing of their own, and we gave them a contingency in the contract that if they request an extra 2 weeks by the middle of July, then we'll give it to them. I pretty much expect that they're gonna request that, but it kind of depends on what they end up finding for for their new place. They're a couple of retirees, and they're downsizing, and I can understand that because there's a lot of stuff at this house. The guy was quite handy, but I'm sure it's a big job keeping up with it now. But anyway, point of which being is that things are going to be pretty chaotic for most of the summer, and I don't know what that's going to mean in terms of my uploading schedule. But I'm going to do my best to be here as much as I can. I'm going to try to get a video out at least once a week, but you never know. And it kind of depends on what's going on in the news. There hasn't really been much that I want to talk about. There's the whole Bud Light and Target thing going on that, I've sort of been following through a couple of other YouTubers, but I that's not an area of things that I particularly want to wade into. So I don't really want to talk about that. There's just really not a whole hell of a lot going on. This move thing has ate my brain, but I wanted to get the news out about this because I like to see this Scientology stuff kept in the forefront, because I've been casual Scientology watcher since the 80s. They were kind of I went to college in Boston, and there is a church in Boston, or at least there used to be. I'm not sure if there still is or not. Aaron says they're closing up all over the place, and there aren't that many people left. But I'm sure, major city, there's probably got to be a presence there. But when I was in college in the late 80s, they were suing people left and right. Or maybe, no, this was the 90s. I actually was out of college, but I was working at my college. And I remember this because I remember that the web was a brand new thing, and somebody had created a website to talk about the Xenu story and all of that stuff. And that person got sued, and a few other people got sued. And then the internet became ubiquitous, and Scientology lost all their suits, and now they don't sue people anymore, at least not the way they used to. And I guess Aaron says they haven't really sued anybody at all in 20 years. But, it kind of made an impression on me as a younger guy, and it was something that I wanted to pay attention to because you hear the stories of the people who were hounded by this organization, people who were stalked and harassed and lost their jobs and had their lives ruined because they just didn't want to be part of it anymore. And that's pretty rough. I made a video a long time ago about my very arm's length brush with a cult. And I kind of freaked out about it, and I called a sort of cult awareness organization to find out, what I should do about it. And what they told me is, they said, for the most part, people who are in cults are there because they want to be there. Most cults do not stop people from leaving and do not harass people after they've left. Most cults, not all. And Scientology is one of the ones who does. It's a high crime in Scientology to speak badly of Scientology, and if you do, you're declared a suppressive person. And if you're declared a suppressive person, they, by their rules, they can do pretty much whatever they want to you. Anyway, it'll be interesting to see what happens in the civil trial. But that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. So hopefully I will see you guys relatively soon, at least soon by the recent standards of my channel. But I am going to try to make more videos. I'm really looking forward to getting into the new place and having a room that I can use as a video studio. Where I can have my lights set up, and I can have, a decent camera set up, and I don't have to, always be pulling things out and putting them away every time I want to try to do something. Anyway, there it is. I will talk to you guys later. Hope you're having a great day. I will see you in the next one. Graham out. Bye-bye.